Hello students, today we are going to solve a Cambridge IGCSE paper of Computer Science 047812, and it's of the variant 12 and of the year March 2023. So let's begin with the first question. The first question says that computers can be infected with malware. Spyware is one example of malware. This topic is in chapter 5 of the IGCSE syllabus when it comes to internet and its uses. And there in chapter 5.3 you have a topic named as cybersecurity. So this topic malware comes from there. Now tick one box to show the definition of spyware. They're asking you the definition of spyware. So what do you guys think is the definition of spyware? Do you think spyware is a software that records all key presses and transmits these to a third party? That is one definition of spyware. Okay. Spyware does not activate a webcam. Spyware does not record all data into a computer. And when a password is being entered, and then spyware does not send emails to a third party. The main definition of spyware is that it is a software that records all key presses and transmits to the third party. Now, complete the table by identifying two other examples of malware. Two examples of malware. The very common one which we can say is virus. Okay. What is the description of virus? It's a simple, very common thing which we see in our daily lives, that if someone's system has a virus installed in it. So you could say, why is the virus installed? What the virus actually does? It is a software or a code that replicates and it damages your system, or it deletes the file and damages the data files. Okay. The second example we can say is let's say adware. You see ads on your on the internet whenever you're watching a video or a YouTube video, or whenever you're watching something on the internet, online banking. You might have seen some ads which says buy this ticket, which says click me. Those ads are examples of malware. And adware, what it basically does is it may contain some virus. So when it's clicked, you could say when clicked it may link to virus. Okay. And then you could say that what more can you say? One more point. You could say that it may contain other malware. This is one point. This is one more point. Always write the shortest and the easiest points. It may contain other malware. Okay. Always write the short and easiest points which are good for you. Moving forward to the next question, it says here that proxy servers and firewalls have some similar functions. Describe two similarities and one difference between proxy and firewalls. What are the similarities between the proxy and the firewalls? You could say they both check the incoming and outgoing. They both check the incoming and outgoing signals or traffic. You can signals and traffic is the same thing. Incoming and outgoing signals or traffic, whatever suits you the best. And then you can say they both can be in the form of hardware or a software. They both can be hardware or software. You can also install firewall in your system by buying the hardware of it, and similarly for proxy servers. They can all firewall, you can also install it on your system, so you can install that software of firewall. Okay, the difference between them is that when you have a proxy server in your system, the proxy server, it can hide your IP address, but when you have a firewall, it does not hide your IP address. Obviously your IP address are private, so I write it in a different color so the difference is being visible, so the difference is visible. Proxy servers can hide the user's IP address, and obviously your IP address is private, whereas firewall does not hide the user's IP address. Okay, then we move forward to the next question. A programmer has designed a three-dimensional interactive computer system. A three-dimensional, first thing is that you need to understand the question. A three-dimensional interactive computer game. They are going to develop a program for the game. The program needs to run efficiently. It has mentioned in the it has been mentioned in the question that it needs to run efficiently, but it also must be developed as soon as possible. Tick one of the boxes to identify whether the programmer should use a high-level language, or the programmer should use a low-level language to develop the program. You can if you're selecting high-level language, you have to explain the reason. If you're selecting low-level language, you have to explain the reason. The reason which I am going to select, I am going to take high-level language, or let's say I can take I'll take high-level language. Yeah. The reason why I chose high-level language is it is easier. I can say that it is easier for the programmer to understand. It is easier for the programmer to understand the code. Okay, and then one more point, I can say that it is easier to debug the file. It is easier to debug the file. And then I can also say that if the person is making a game, a computer game, talking about the computer game, you can also say that the game will be machine independent. The game will be machine independent. Okay, since it's a 4-mark question, 4 points would be fine. And if you can see, if you're selecting high level language, you have to justify 4 points for it. If you're taking low level language, you tick the low level language box and you explain. So for low level language, if you're selecting, let's say if you're selecting low level language, the points you can say for low level language, I will just brainstorm it here. I can say that for low level language, memory, and you'll need more memory. Memory is required, more memory is required. And I can also say that it allows a direct manipulation of memory. Allows direct manipulation of memory. All right. So similarly, 2 more points you can add by learning the topic. One more point I could add to high level language is that programmer can focus on the problem of what the problem is found in while developing the program. The programmer can focus on the single problem. Can focus on the problem instead of manipulation. Manipulation of what? Manipulation of the memory. The programmer can focus on the problem instead of manipulation of the memory. Alright, this is an important point. So 4 points, and then for 4 marks. The next part of this question says, if the programmer is choosing a high level language, they can use a compiler or an interpreter to translate the high level language into a low level language. You have to describe the operation of a compiler and an interpreter. What does a compiler do? What are the functions of the compiler? So if you have studied this topic, a compiler basically checks all the code before executing the file. It checks all the code before executing the file. Before executing the code or any file, whatever it is doing. And it produces executable file. The files on which you can execute, compiler does that. It produces executable file. The function of interpreter is that it translates one line of code and then executes it. First, it will translate the code. Let's say this is the code. First, it will translate it. It will translate the code into a different language before executing it. So this is done before execution. Before execution, it is translating it, and after that it will become into the translated part. So it translates one line of code. And then it will execute it. Okay. Second point you could say is it stops. The interpreter will stop when an error is found. Okay, whenever the error is found, the interpreter just stops working and you cannot move forward. First, you have to rectify the error. You have to correct the error, and then it will translate one line of the same error, and then it will execute it. So these are the operations of compiler and interpreter. I hope this is clear. A new computer comes with primary and secondary storage. Data is measured using binary denominations. So these all come under binary fix, the topic which is data representation chapter 1, and it comes under binary prefix. So in that, things which you need to know is that 1 nibble is equal to 4 bits, okay, and 1 byte is equals to 8 bits. 8 bits is equals to 8 bit means 2 nibbles. You need to learn the methods, the table. So let's say for 8 bits, to convert from 8 bits, what you can do is 8 bits. So when you have 8 byte, to convert it into nibbles, you know that 8 bits means 2 nibbles. So 2 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So total you will have 16 nibbles. Okay. And then when we talk about the second one, which says 512 kilobytes, and then you have to convert it into megabytes. So to convert from 512 megabytes, this is 16 nibbles. From megabytes, what do you need to do? 512 divided by 1024, which if you do the math, you will get 0.5. So 0.5 is the amount of megabytes here. 0.5. Similarly, for the third one, 4 gigabytes into dash megabytes. So if you do this question here, you need to show the working. 4 gigabytes. So to convert 4 gigabytes, you need to multiply it. Here we divided by 1024. Now we will multiply it. So 4 multiplied by 1024, which will give you 4096 megabytes, which will give you 4096 96. For the last one, 1 exabyte is equals to 1024 petabytes. This is the formulas you need to learn in order to get the answers. If you show the working, you will get all the 4 marks along with the 4 answers. Random access memory, RAM, is an example of primary storage. RAM is an example of primary storage. Please tell me 3 things that will be stored in a RAM. 3 things that will be stored in a RAM is the data which is currently running. Currently running data. Okay. Currently running application software. Currently running application software. Okay, and the currently running instructions. Whatever instructions is being made on the system, it currently stores it. So because RAM is temporary memory, so these all are temporary. All the data which is being currently run on the computer system, all of them are temporary because RAM is temporary storage. We all know that RAM is temporary storage. Okay, describe the purpose of a secondary storage. For a secondary storage, it is you can say it is for non-volatile or permanent storage of files. I'll say for permanent storage of files you use a secondary storage for permanent storage of files. And I can also say that it stores the data that is not required by the CPU. Stores the data that is not required by the CPU. Okay, that is not required by the CPU. A wildlife photographer stores their digital images. Digital images on a computer. Complete the definition by complete the table by defining each term. So the term here given is, what is the term here given? It's pixel. What is pixel? You need to learn the definition. Pixel is you can say one square or one circle, or you can also say one square of an image, one square of one color. Okay, I can give you an example of a pixel is that when you have an image, okay, the small element, when you zoom it, you can see the pixels. So let's say this is black color pixel, this is the white color pixel, this is the red color pixel. Or you could also define by saying, this is one definition, 1 point. You do not need to add 1 point, but this point, but I will write it. You can say it is the smallest component. It is the smallest component of the image. I think the second one is fine, so let's stick to the second one, which is the smallest component of the image. Okay, you can add either one of them. It's for 2 marks, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Okay, now what is meant by resolution? Resolution is the number of pixels. Resolution is the number of pixels per set area. Per set area is the meaning of resolution. Or you could also say number of pixels in an image. All right. One of the images, they have a resolution of 1000 by 1000 and a color of depth of 2 bytes. Calculate the file size of the image and you have to give your answer in bytes. So how are we going to do this? First, we are going to multiply the resolution, which is 1000 times 1000, which will give us, just add the zeros basically. So how many zeros do we have? 6 zeros, 6 zeros. So 6 zeros here. But since we have 2 bytes, since we have 2 bytes here, we'll bring this here and multiply this value by 2. You multiply it by 2, what do we get? We get and 6 zeros. So these are the final answer in bytes. Very easy question. I hope this is clear. The photographer decides to purchase a solid state device, SSD, solid state device, to backup. He's using the device to backup. There has been some terms given to you from the list, and then some of the terms in the list will not be used. You should use a term only. You will use one word only once. So how are we going to do this? You have to memorize the solid state, the definitions of all of them. So we know that solid state storage is non-volatile. It is non-volatile. What does non-volatile means? Non-volatile means it is permanent. This means that the data is not lost when the power is turned off. A solid state storage is made up of dash that are laid out in a dash. It is made up of what? It is made up of transistors. It is made up of transistors. It is made up of transistors that are laid out in a grid. Alright? The gates are used to control the flow of dash through the transistors. Electrons. Okay? So electrons, transistors, grid, and non-volatile. These changes the data into from 1 to 0. So 1 to 0 are electrons. The photographer compresses an image before it is emailed. It's saying why a file is compressed. So you need to give the answer for why the file is being compressed. When the file is being compressed, what it basically does is it reduces the file size. It reduces the file size. A website allows user to purchase items. Computer A sends a request for the home page to the website server. For the home page of the website server. The request is sent using packet switching. It is sent using packet switching. The structure of packet of data has 3 elements. One element is the packet header. Identify two items of data contained in the packet header. What items of data are stored in a packet header? The packet number, obviously. The packet number and the destination of the IP address. So you could say destination of the IP address, destination IP. Identify two other elements of a packet. What are the two other elements of the packet? You can say payload and you can say trailer. Okay. This question is asking you, computer A needs to be directly connected to a router that is computer A. First read the question. Needs to be directly connected to a router that is located in a different room. Take one box to identify whether serial data transmission or parallel transmission is more suitable. Explain the reasons for your choice. We could take both, like we had the question earlier here, like this. When we were solving, we could choose one of them and then you have to explain the reason of your choice. So I chose let's say parallel data transmission. Okay, so I have to justify. I can say that parallel has faster data transmission. Okay, faster data transmission than serial. A very long connection is not needed. You don't need a long connection. Okay, and then you can also say that it also responds faster, responds faster to the requests. Okay, 3 points and for 3 marks. If you're saying if you're selecting serial data transmission, the points you could say here for serial data transmission are that for serial data transmission, data arrives in order. The data arrives in order. Okay, and you can also say it is less likely to experience interface. Less likely to experience interface. Okay, the connection will also use a full duplex data transmission. It is going to use a full duplex data transmission. Define the full data transmission. You have to define the term. Full duplex data transmission is nothing but the data goes in both directions at the same time. Data goes in both the directions at the same time. So far this paper has been really easy. We are 9 pages, we have 16 pages document. So far this paper has been really easy. It's been treating you really easily, and then I hope paper 1 of IGCSE is really easy. It's just basically your theoretical knowledge of how you can memorize and implement it in the paper. The data transmission will use parity checks. The bytes need to be sent using an even parity byte check. Complete the parity bit for each byte. So you have to complete the table. So when you complete the table for each parity bit, byte A 0 will come and byte B 0 will come, and then that's when the byte will be completed. Alright, moving forward, a parity block check can be used instead of a parity byte check. Explain how a parity byte might detect an error in transmission. It will detect an error in the transmission that would not be detected by a parity byte check. So basically it's asking you that a parity block check basically detects an error in transmission, but what would not be detected? So you can say in the parity check, this is how we can frame the sentence. In the parity check, interchange will not be detected. Interchange will not be detected. Okay, and then you can also say that the possible position of all changes that will be highlighted. The possible positions of all changes will be highlighted. Okay, that's done. The next part also includes about the parity block check. It says an even parity block check is there. Okay, you and I, we both know that one of the bits transmitted in this question is incorrect. So which line is incorrect? We have to identify this. So if you identify, I think bit 1, bit 2, bit 3, I think byte number 4. If you look at byte number 4 and check by bit 0 1 0 0 0 1 0. So yeah, I think byte 4 and bit 6 is incorrect because it does not match. Okay, so bit number 6 and byte number 4, this one I'm going to highlight it here. This value seems incorrect. It's going by byte 4 and by bit 6. All right, So now let's move forward. The website allows the user to set up an account to log on and purchase items. The website is accessed and displayed using a web browser. Two functions of the web browser are to render hypertext markup language, which is your HTML, hypertext markup language, to display web pages, and to store cookies. I am pretty sure all of you know what is meant by cookies. Whenever you open a website, you are asked to accept the cookies to move forward. Identify two other functions of a web browser. What are the two other functions of a web browser? What does a web browser do? It stores your history. I'm writing the easiest one. It stores your history, and it allows multiple web pages to be open. Or you can open one tab at a time. Along with that, you can open 2 to 3 more tabs at a time. It also manages the HTTPS protocol. HTTP stands for what? Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and then service, HTTPS. Okay. Identify two ways that cookies can be used to enhance the user experience of the website. What are the two ways the cookies can be used to enhance the user's experience? What do you think? It stores the pages which are visited. Stores the pages that are visited. Okay. Along with that, it stores the account details, or it stores the recent purchases. In case you forgot what you purchased, the cookies, they store your recent purchases. So it allows the user to reorder more quickly. If you want to reorder something again, you don't have to type all the details. So if your recent purchase detail is already written, then it will automatically allow you to reorder. All right, easy questions. Yeah. A company is involved in robotics. This is your this comes in your enhanced robotics topic of O-levels paper 1. One of its robots is designed to do a specific movement depending on a binary value. This is the binary value. Okay. The table gives off some movements for the robot. Complete the table by writing the missing binary, denary, or hexadecimal value for each movement. When I speak about this one, it's really easy. 31. How are you gonna convert 31? It's very easy. 4 here and 4 here. So let's convert 31 into hexadecimal. 1, 2, 4, 8. If I zoom here, 1, 2, 4, 8. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. Okay, so 15, and this is 1. So 15. So 1 will come here. What is for 15? If you look at the hexadecimal chart, 10 is for A, 11 is for B, 12 is for C, 13 is for D, 14 is for E, 15 is for F. So I think you will be needing this one. Okay, so 1F should be your answer. Okay, then we move forward to the next part. Back one step. Here you have to convert 140 into denary. The most easiest way is when you have the hexadecimal value, it becomes easier. Okay, so how are you going to do this? You have to convert 8. So 1248. That's really easy. So this is how I made 8. 1248. Okay. Sorry, this is how I made 12. Look. 1, 2, 4, 8. So this is 12. Yes, this is 12. Yeah. So 12 stands for C. Do I have C here? Yes, I do have C here. So that's the same thing. And the next value is 8. You just have to make 8. and I believe everyone knows how to do that in binary. How will you make it? 0, 0, 0 and 1. And then if you convert 140 denary into binary, this is what the value you will get. 128 plus 8 plus 4. 128 plus 8 gives you what? Gives you 136. 136 plus 4 is 140. Okay. Now you have to convert. Again, you have to convert these values into denary. So I believe you can do like this, or whatever method suits you the best. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So 64 plus 16 plus 8 plus 2. Yes? This is how is it? 64 plus 16 plus 8 plus 2. That gives you 90. That gives you what? It gives you 90. That gives you what, beta? It gives you 90. Okay. Now 120. Simple. The simplest one is when you have this value. Just convert 8 and 7. This is how you will get 8 and 7. Okay. You can see 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Okay. So 128. Now if you add 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8, it will give you 120. Alright. This is how it will look like. And for all of these questions, whatever working I've done here, you have to write it down here. So this is the working space. I did the workings here, but you have to do it here in this area given to you. What do you mean by the term robotics? What do you mean by the term robotics? The design of the robotics, the design of robots is to perform tasks. Is to perform tasks. Okay. This is for 2 marks. Or you can also say the operations of the robots. The operation of the robots is to perform operations. Okay, easy? Yes. Now, the robot has a sensor and a microprocessor. The robot will move forward continuously until it detects an object that is less than or equal to 10 centimeter in front of it. If an object is less than or equal to 10 centimeter, if an object is less than or equal to 10 centimeter, the robot turns 90 degrees, right? It tries. Explain how the sensor and the microprocessor are used to automate. You have to write the full function of how a sensor and a microprocessor are used to automate the robot. We will write some points. Since it's for 7 marks, it's one of the most important questions in IGCSE paper 1. It uses an infrared sensor. Okay, it uses an infrared sensor. Along with that, you can say the sensor continuously sends the digitized version, sends the digitized value. Okay, the sensor continuously sends the digitized value. The microprocessor compares the data. The microprocessor compares the data Okay. And what is the value stored? It's 10 centimeters. So it will store what value? It will store the 10 centimeter value. All right. After that, if the data is greater than the stored value, if the data is greater than the stored value, is greater than, what is the stored value? Then 10 centimeter is greater than 10 centimeter, then a signal is made to make the robot move. A signal is made to make the robot move forward. Okay, so these are your 3, 4, 5 points. 2 more points we can add. We can say an actuator, an actuator, sorry, an actuator is used to make the robot turn. One more point you can add regarding this is that if the data is greater than 10 centimeter, but this is one statement, but what if the data is not greater than 1 centimeter, then the stored value? The stored value is 10 centimeter, which is given to you in the question here. Now, if it is less than 10 centimeter, what will happen? In the question also it says that, the robot turns 90-degree right. Okay, if it is, then it will move forward again. But what if it is not? Greater than 10 centimeter, a signal will be made to make the robot to turn. The robot will turn, and it will turn 90-degree as it says. Okay, the robot will turn. So what makes them to move forward and turn is this actuator. Actuator is used to make the robot move forward or to turn. Now the last point will summarize the whole story. The whole process repeats continuously. Till when will it repeat? Until it is turned off. Okay, until it is turned off. Hope this is fine. Now, artificial intelligence, there's one more topic. Okay, it says that the robot needs to find its way through different puzzles. Each puzzle has a series of paths that the robot needs to follow. Okay, that the robot needs to follow to find its way to the end of the puzzle. The puzzle contains dead ends and obstacles, so the robot needs to decide which way to go. The robots will use artificial intelligence. Describe the characteristics of AI. You have to describe the characteristics of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it collects data. Just the basic characteristics you can write. It collects data. It stores rules for using the data. It stores the rules for using the data. Okay, and it makes one or more predictions. Okay, now last question, I think, and then we're done with the paper. The last question says, how will this program use AI? Basically, this involves the machine learning. So you could frame sentences for 4 marks. Use the machine learning algorithm. By using the machine learning algorithm, the AI will program. You have to use the machine learning algorithm, and by using the machine learning, it will collect the data, collects the data about where it has been, and then and then one more point is it stores the successful actions, only events which are successful. If there is any error or anything, it will not store it. Okay, actually wait, if there is any sort of error, it will also save those error, it will also store those error. Why? Because towards the end the program will show where was the mistakes made, so it will store the unsuccessful errors. Okay, and it will identify the patterns. With this, we have completely finished the paper 04 variant 1 to February March 23.